Okay, cool. Well, Kelly, let's go ahead and get started. Just want to ask you a couple questions here, see how everything is going, what you think of working together thus far. So my first question for you is, what was your starting point like coming in, and what goals did you set for yourself when reaching out to me?
So starting as sort of exercising like crazy at Orange Theory and seeing fat go up instead of down, seeing weight go up instead of down. And I actually had seen muscle go down instead of up, and knew that I was missing something, likely nutrition. And so that was my major focus or goal coming in, was to get a handle on nutrition, specifically being vegan. And so some vegan nutrition.
Awesome, cool. And you just got those tests done this morning, actually. So yeah, concrete evidence that you're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
But let's also, how long have we been working together, and what have we accomplished thus far? Or what have you accomplished thus far by working towards your goals?
So about 2 months of working together, definite weight loss as of this morning's in-body scan, definite fat loss, muscle gain, so all very good things. Definitely looking more toned, and definitely having a better handle on my nutrition. Probably sticking with tracking nutrition for longer than I ever have, quite honestly, and learning how to track it properly, and how to sort of properly disperse calories, not only with macros, but like across the day as well, in terms of when I'm eating.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's one of the things we talked about at the beginning of working together. We also like optimized your meal timing so that you can feel better.
Absolutely.
That was, I forgot all about that.
I mean, it was a minor change, but major difference. And I wouldn't have necessarily thought that that was something to do. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. So what has been your biggest takeaway thus far?
I think honestly, so as I was tracking my food and my macros, probably about 2 weeks ago, I noticed that I was like way over on macros for the day, but it still looked like I was under on calories, and I would not have known why that was. But in reaching out, that the education piece of things, especially in that regard, knowing or not knowing that food labels can be so misleading sometimes, and so that extra education, so that now I know and can use that moving forward, has been super, super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, for sure, one of the things that I like to touch on the most is because I believe that education is empowering, especially when you apply it. So
right. And then, I mean, and it's something that I can continue to apply years down the line, but I never knew. You don't know what you don't know. So
absolutely. And then I also want to ask, like, referring back to the starting point, with what you're doing now and what you were doing before with Orange Theory, how has like the routine change? Has that helped you at all as well? Like, what are your big takeaways there?
So I loved Orange Theory, and I would get up at 4:20 in the morning to go to Orange Theory. And I realized by sort of putting that down and switching to the workouts here, first off, I sleep more, which is good. I don't crash in the middle of the afternoon, which is also good. And just feel better rested, feel better the whole way around, and then can sort of work out on my time, which, I mean, I think there's something to scheduling it and putting it on the calendar and having a time to go, but I also think there's something to not stressing yourself out over that. And the workout is on my calendar, and I will do it before I go to bed that night, but I can sort of do it at any time. It doesn't have to be at a specific time. I don't have to get up and drive to wherever. I can go downstairs, do my thing. And they're good workouts. Like, I probably sweat more at home than I sweat at Orange Theory. They're good workouts, and I think it's more of a challenge against myself, so I can see what I did rep wise the last time, and I can see what I did weight wise the last time, and I can push myself a little bit more at home. And I don't think I was necessarily pushing myself as much in the other scenario.
All right, that's like actually unexpected that you feel like you're pushing yourself more at home, but I love that.
Competitive with myself. I'm competitive in general, but I can be very competitive with myself. So
yeah, absolutely, that's really cool. Last question here. Oh, sorry, two more questions. Did you have any hesitations at all, whether maybe you thought like it was the right time or not, whether you were worried about like the investment, like the financial investment, maybe the time investment, maybe signing up with somebody you totally don't even know? Like, did you have any hesitations at all before starting?
So I think a little bit with the, signing up with somebody and making a large financial investment with somebody that I didn't really know. But if not, then when? I mean, I was sort of to a point where I had tried other things. I had been doing my Orange Theory workouts for over 2 years, and I was seeing progress opposite. I mean, I was seeing changes, but they weren't good changes. And so I wasn't really seeing the progress that I wanted to see. And I mean, that was an investment too. So if something's not working, to keep doing that same thing doesn't really make much sense. It was definitely time to try something new. And again, part of me for a long time felt like the nutrition part was lacking. Like I was a sort of a bad vegan, quote unquote, right? Like I wasn't eating the right things, but I didn't know how to change that on my own. And I had, done some reading, done some research, but I still didn't know exactly how to change that on my own or how many calories I should be eating. And so I feel like leaving that to an expert is way better than just trying to guess on your own, because clearly that was getting me nowhere.
Yeah, so that's really good to know also. Actually, it's funny, whenever we signed up together, I didn't know you were hesitant at all. But that's good. Like, yeah, I can see how that can be so daunting to not be sure of who you're signing up with. And I know I've definitely taken that leap as well. But yeah, I mean, something I like to say always is that if you're resistant toward it or if you're scared, it's probably something you should actually go toward, right? Because change is scary.
It's sort of one of those, like, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, really, like when you take a step back and look at the greater picture, like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm trying something new. I've not tried it before. I mean, clearly I'm not getting anywhere by not signing up, right? So like, let's try it. And I'm definitely glad I did.
Awesome. Okay, very last question. If somebody is sitting on the fence and they're not sure whether they should sign up or not, what would you tell them? Honest opinion, like, should they do it? Should they not do it? What would you tell them?
I honestly, I've sort of surprised myself. So seeing the progress, I like checklists. So I love the app. That's motivating to me. Like, and I think that's motivated me to continue to plug in food. And I think that sort of the commitment I made with you and the commitment that I made with myself was that I was going to follow this through. And so I think that has also been super helpful. So it's definitely sort of, first off, it's a really great learning experience. So again, all of these things that I'm picking up along the way are things that I can take with me forever and ever. So certainly worth that investment just for the education in and of itself. But the progress that I've made, I think when you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you don't really realize it. But I think some of the tools that we use, like, so taking those progress pictures and doing the weekly check-ins and being able to see the graph of where my weight's at and knowing that it's not going to be a linear progression, those things are all helpful in kind of the push to keep me going. And I can look back and be like, oh, look back in August where I was and look how far I've come. So I think all of those things are super helpful. And again, I knew I needed the nutrition piece, and I knew I wasn't getting that elsewhere. And so I would say if that's, if it feels like you're not making progress or you're making backwards progress and you feel like something's lacking, definitely go for it. Because first off, I've learned a lot, and second off, I've made a lot of progress, even in 2 months.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. Is there anything else that you would like to share with anybody that may be listening or watching this?
Other than I wish that I found this sooner, like, in the middle of the pandemic, so that I would know, so that I would have eaten better in the middle of the pandemic. No, if you're on the fence, I think definitely, give it a try, because I'm glad I sort of just said, let's do this, and where I'm at now, for sure.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you so much for being able to share your experience with everybody else. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you.